shortly. Please stay tuned.
Hello, lovely Leos, and welcome to your August horoscope. I'm Rose Smith, and I've got some information for you to help you through the month. And it should be a much quieter, calmer, more peaceful month than last month, July, because there was so much happening in July. So we had 2 eclipses, we had 2 new moons if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. Australia and New Zealand are copying that this month in August because of the difference in the time zones. And there was also Mercury retrograde. The good news is that Mercury does turn direct on the 1st of the month, so things should start to flow now. We should all be moving forward a little bit more easily than last month. Do remember though, however, that there are 5 days, so up to the 5th of August, there's a shadow period where the energy of Mercury retrograde is still sort of wearing off. And so, you know, if you've got anything really super important to do, maybe wait a day or two, a couple of days, just see how you're travelling. If, you know, things are going well for you, go right ahead and sign contracts or, you know, invest in new technology, book travel plans, those sorts of things. So by the 5th of the month, it should be all over Red Rover. Okay, so lovely Leos. I must say also happy birthday because you're the birthday person for this month. Now, the thing about birthdays, you know, it's celebrating our birth, but what actually is happening is every year it's a good time to take stock and to go back and reflect on what is going on in our lives, and is this the direction we want our lives to actually go in. So do that around your birthday or your rebirth day, because it's a type of rebirth for the following year, which is very exciting. So let's get into it. So we have a lot of awareness, a lot of motivation, a lot of activity in your first house, because that's the house of self, and we've got the Sun, Mars and Venus in there at the beginning of the month. So the Sun is all about awareness and insight and even happiness. You know, you could be feeling like you've achieved a lot and, you know, you've been through a lot and you're still here. So congratulations to you. So it's also with Venus there's also this feeling of harmony and lightness, beauty, appreciation of beauty, and you might find yourself drawn towards pastel colours, so the apricots, greens. It's not the primary colours, it's more the softer romantic type of colours, because the goddess Venus is really into that, into beauty. You might be feeling like buying new clothes, particularly with all these planets in your first house. It's about, you know, looking at your identity and what you put out to the world. Is the perception of you true by what you put out to the world? So is your, you know, wardrobe, are your clothes really reflecting what's going on in your heart? So you might be deciding to buy new shoes, new clothes, new makeup, get a new hairdo. And also around your home, is your home reflective of who you really are? So, you know, some people, they don't sort of care where they live, but as a Leo, you do like nice things. And with Venus in this position especially, it's important to have things in your home that are beautiful in some way and that have meaning to you. So you could be feeling like redecorating, and even if it's just painting a feature wall and buying some new cushions for your bed, or, you know, it doesn't have to be a total renovation where you tear half the house down. It could be just simple things that you do, and maybe even outside, a bit of landscaping and just making the general area around your house more amenable to your tastes. Really, that's what's happening. Okay, so the 12th then sees Mercury come into this first house of self, and that means that there'll be more messages and more communications about who you really are and what you stand for, you know. So it's about being your authentic self and conveying that to the world so that they get the right, or the people out in the world get the right perception of, who you are as a person. Okay, as Mercury also rules the mind, you could be finding that you're getting, your mind is a bit busier than usual, that there's more going on in your head. So please stop, dear Leos, and check what is going on in your head. It's time for some housekeeping, mental housekeeping, to really, check that what's going on in your head is healthy and well. So if you find yourself having negative thoughts, for example, imagine a waterfall, just washing those away. Try and stay calm. I know you're probably pressed for time at the moment. Time management is a real thing for you this year. So if you're finding yourself pressed for time, you have to actually stop and do some clearing in your mind, so then you'll have more time, because yes, you have a lot of things to physically do and a lot of things to think about, but there's also a lot of rubbish that can go on in our heads that we can get rid of. Just think of it, with your computer when you're running out of space. Things don't work properly, and eventually it'll all stop. So it's a good time for mental housekeeping as well. The 15th sees the full moon in your 7th house of committed relationships. Now the 7th house is opposite the 1st house, and so these two kind of try to balance things out between themselves. Hopefully it's a gentle balancing and not anything too traumatic for you. It shouldn't be. But what that can mean with the full moon there is changes around committed relationships, while you've got this reinvention of your identity going on in your 1st house. So it's a great big cycle that happens. So you might need to renegotiate some, issues in your relationships. And it's not just committed personal relationships. It can also be who you're working with, business partners, anybody you rely on in business. You may need to renegotiate some things so, it better reflects your identity, because you're changing your identity. So, of course, it only goes to follow that that's going to have some effect on your work, large or small. We'll have to wait and see, and how you negotiate it. Okay, so the 19th, here we go, the end of the month. So much happening for you. The 19th, 22nd, 24th and 30th sees Mars, Venus, Sun and new moon, and they're all going into your 2nd house of values. Okay, so typically people sort of say, oh, it's to do with money. And yes, often it is to do with money, but it's more than money. It's whatever you value. Are you getting out of relationships enough to sustain you, spiritually and emotionally? It's not just about, if you're in a relationship, whether that be a business or personal relationship, are you getting money or sufficient money? It's more than that. Are you getting things that actually feed your spirit out of what you're doing in your normal everyday life? Okay, so, if you're in a committed relationship, you need to be getting more than money, in other words. So that's happening at the end of the month. So that could bring up, some new things there. With the new moon, it's all about new starts and new beginnings. So you had a fortnight before the full moon causing some changes to come up. And now from that, you've probably thought about it, and that's given you some ideas for new starts, okay? That could be new ways to make money. That could be some really creative ideas about what you value and what's important to you. Okay, you might go for a promotion, or you might go for a new job. You might start a new business. All sorts of things you could do there. All sorts of options. Alrighty, so let's have a look psychically now, and I'll see what I can see for you, lovely Leos, for the month of August. Right, okay, so it's a happy month, even though there's these little things happening. Overall, the theme is happiness, contentment and harmony. and you'll manage these other things well as they come up. They're showing me flowers blooming in a field, which usually means happiness to me. And then I see a clock, and I can see the hands turning on the clock, and they're saying timing is important. Like when you bring these things up to other people that you want to discuss, you have to do it at the right time. So you have to feel ready. Don't rush and, be impulsive and just think, oh, I want to get this over and done with. Just, choose your moment to bring things up, and you'll get the best reception if you do that. Okay. I see also like a waterfall of silver rain energy coming down. That is like the life force when I see that. And that means you'll be feeling more vital, you'll be feeling healthier, you'll be feeling like you want to get things done. They're showing me 2 rings together. It's a good time to get married if you're thinking of marriage. And they've got diamonds around both rings. So it's like a husband and a wife wedding ring, a wedding band, but they're actually encrusted in diamonds. So it's just beautiful, actually. And diamonds are something very precious, So if you are thinking of getting married, August is a great time. It also refers to the marriage within yourself, the divine marriage of energies within yourself. And that means coming to terms with things in your own way, and then you have the use of those energies. So those energies don't control you anymore. You can control them and decide what you want to do. You're in charge of your own life. Your ego has to rule your personality in a benevolent way. You're not a dictator. That doesn't work ever with the subconscious. Okay, let's have a look in the cards now. And the first ones we're going to look at are the tarot cards. And I've shuffled these up before, and I'll just give them a quick shuffle now. And we're looking for Leo, August 2019. Main theme for the month, please. Alrighty, and we come up with the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, this is great. This is new starts on a physical level. This could be new starts in work, new starts with money. Okay, so money is a theme this month in August for you lovely Leos. So brilliant ideas on how you can make money, what you need to do to attract that money into your life. New starts, you might be doing physical things like making things or constructing things, maybe hobbies, using your creativity. If you're in the northern hemisphere, you could be sewing, and if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's winter here, so you might be knitting. But all about making new things achievable in the physical realm. So that's lovely. I like that one. Okay, let's have a look now in the psychological cards. And we have 2 cards here, if you haven't seen this before. It's one an inner card, I call it, or the foreground. And this one actually jumps out at me. And it's 2 people looking at the beach, okay? Now you could, construe it as a man and a woman, or 2 women, or 2 men, whatever. However you construe it. But they're both looking at the beach. The beach is all about the subconscious, okay? They're grounded in practical reality because they're on the beach or on Earth, but they're looking at the subconscious. All right, now that one then sits on top of the outer card or the background card. Oh, okay. Confusion. That one literally jumped out. We put one inside the other. Oh, isn't this funny? They're jumping all over the place. Wow. I've had 3 jumps in a row. Okay. Now what do you think that means? Okay. Confusion in the background and 2 people looking at the beach, at the water at the beach. Okay, so I'll give you my interpretation. There's confusion in the background. life can seem chaotic sometimes, especially if you look externally, if you look in the news, politically, what's happening with your country. It can be a real mess, actually, depending on what country you're looking at. Even Australia isn't looking too great at the moment, and we're probably headed towards recession. That was in one of my predictions somewhere. And, if it doesn't happen in 2019, it could happen in 2020. And so all these external events that are looking very confusing, and what does it mean for our future? And yet we have these two people, and they're turning to their subconscious to work out, try and get the messages of what they should do, okay? So I feel for you, lovely Leos, in August. This is the road. This is the best road to take. No matter what's happening externally in your life, look within, okay? So I hope that's really helpful for you. If you enjoyed this video and you found it useful, please leave a like, subscribe and comment, and share it on your channel. That'd be fantastic if you could do that. And don't forget to click the notification bell for updates. But most importantly, please have a beautiful month, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Okay, thank you so much, and bye for now.
Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website absolutesoulsecrets.com for all things spiritual.